I thank the organizers of today's function for having extended me a welcome in absentia even before I arrived on the scene. As soon as I came, my close friend Janab Maulana Rafiuddin Saab, who always sits next to me in every function, reassured me that I had already been welcomed. And I had gone for one more function before coming here, and there I was welcomed with the Mysore turban kept on my head. And here I found Janab Maulana Rafiuddin Saab's cap on my seat, and I thought he would welcome me with that. The moment I came here, he took away the cap and kept it carefully. Now, my friends, I would like to begin by asking you who a chief guest is, the most important guest at any function. In India, the chief guest is always the person who comes last to the function. Because chief guests never come on time. They are the last to arrive. They think that they can increase their stature, increase their importance by coming late, which is a very shameful thing. But I would like to clarify here that I came after the function had started, after the principal speaker was midway through his speech. But that was the time I had agreed to come because I had other engagements. So I came 1 minute before time today. I was asked to come at 12:30, I came at 12:29. And when I was invited to be a speaker, Janab Riyad Ahmad Saab, my uncle, he told me very, very specifically that I should speak only in English today. He said, please resist the temptation to speak in Urdu. I know why he said it. He did not want me to spoil the impression, because if I ventured to speak in Urdu, I would have spoken in a language between Urdu and Dakhni, and you would have been wondering which language this is. There is a very nice thing said about Urdu. They say Urdu was born in Lucknow, it fell sick, and Urdu traveled from the north to the south, as we all know. So they say Urdu was born in Lucknow, it fell sick in Hyderabad, and died in Bangalore. Which I think is very correct. So I will be speaking to you in English alone. And the reason why I have been invited for this function is probably because of two things. One, my stature in society, which is a very benevolent gift from Allah Almighty. And secondly, for my rather close, inactive connection with the AZAM Baitul Maal. My father was an active member, but I have been a supporter, a well-wisher, a very compassionate person towards the activities of the Baitul Maal, but I have not been a direct participant in its functioning, and that is why I am here. And today morning, when I was all dressed and ready to go for the first function of the day, my wife reminded me. She said, the first function you talk whatever you want, but please remember that the second function is a serious function of the Baitul Maal. But still, I ventured to talk on a lighter note because this is my nature. I feel too many serious speakers, too many serious speeches make you a little fatigued. So you need to have a few lighter moments also. I'm sure you'll all agree. The AZAM Baitul Maal of Mysore can rightly be called a very pioneer initiative, because 50 years ago when this was born was the time when not many organizations like this existed. There were a couple of organizations in Bangalore which are doing similar work, but if my memory serves me right and if I am not wrong, I think there was no such organization in Mysore. Am I right? This was the first systematic organization created to do the kind of work that it's doing today. And establishing this was not a very great feat, perhaps. We established so many things. We established so many idaras, so many organizations. But the most important thing is to see whether they are functioning, whether they are surviving, whether they are alive and existent and active. And that the AZAM Baitul Maal is, in spite of 50 years of its march. Very few organizations can boast about this, and this is something I have put in my message in the magazine also that you are going to read. So this has not been a small job. Only the people who have managed it, only the people who have struggled to collect funds for it, only the people, as has been said, who have traveled abroad also to get funds for it year after year, know how difficult it is. And they have also shouldered a very large responsibility on their shoulders. This responsibility not only of collecting, but something much greater than that. What is that? To ensure that the zakat, the sadaqah that they collect is spent only on the mustahq people, on the right people, so that the zakat is properly accepted in the eyes of Allah Almighty. They have not just taken our money and done good work. They have not just taken our money and given it away to poor people. But when they have collected zakat, they have also identified whether those people are mustahq people, the deserving people to whom by giving zakat, our zakat is accepted in the Islamic sense. That's a very big responsibility which they have done. And having done this, they have also monitored and seen what the people are doing with the money that they have taken. They have not just given away money and forgotten about it. For a few years after giving the money, they have monitored the utilization of that money and what has happened to it. It's a different matter that many people have taken money from the Baitul Maal to celebrate the marriages of the so-called poorest of the poor people, and those marriages, as Janab Rafiuddin Saab said, have been celebrated in the best posh marriage halls of the city, celebrating with a very lavish wedding feast. All that happens, but to a very large extent, as far as possible, the Baitul Maal team has seen that this kind of misutilization of the money has not taken place. And I feel proud to remind you all that many people who had no money with them, who started with the contribution given by the Baitul Maal, have flourishing businesses today in Mysore. They may acknowledge it or not, that's a different matter. But I know many such people. And there are many people who have taken loans from the Baitul Maal, who have taken donations from the Baitul Maal, financial help from the Baitul Maal to pay their school fees, college fees and all that, and today they are standing tall all over the world as doctors, advocates, engineers and software professionals. This is a matter of great pride for our community. But there is also a sad part of this story. Not every one of them has responded by turning back to the Baitul Maal with contributions so that the Baitul Maal can build further personalities like them. This is something that they should do. Shukr Guzari is not only about saying thanks to the people who give the money. It is about plowing that money back into an effort that's going to create more opportunities for more poorer people than them in future. I wish everybody keeps this in mind and does their part to see that but the Baitul Mal flourishes, and as Janab Riyaz Sahab said, runs ahead to see its centenary. Inshallah, that will happen in a glorious way. And one more thing is that having taken help from the Baitul Mal and having contributed to the Baitul Mal, there is another very big responsibility on our shoulders as Muslims. We should see if we are achievers with our own money or with the money given by others. If we are achievers, we should see that in our lifetimes we make at least 2 or 3 people come to the state where we are today. If I am a doctor, I should help and guide and counsel other children in the community and see that they also become doctors. An engineer also has the same responsibility. Any other professional also has the same responsibility to see that we guide our youngsters to become whatever we have become. And this is something that we have to do. And we should all ensure that we keep contributing to the Baitul Mal, because as the principal speaker, Janab Aslam Parvez Sahab said, what we are giving in charity is not a gift from us. It is a gift from Allah to the poor people, rooted only through our wealth, through our income, through our earnings. It is not our money at all. The 2.5% zakat, we cannot say, this man was not thankful for me last year when I gave the zakat, so this time I will not give. No, what I gave him was not my money. What I gave him was what Allah had destined to come to me and reach the other person through my hands. I was only doing my spiritual and moral duty as a good Muslim prescribed by Allah through the tenets of the Holy Quran. Even the sadaqah also, though the amount of sadaqah as a percentage has not been mentioned anywhere, Allah has put a lot of emphasis on the goodness of sadaqah and what it can do to make our destinies brighter, better, and keep us healthy and free from all kinds of mishaps in life. So let the people who contribute not think that they are doing anything good. Another thing which the principal speaker said is something on which we should reflect in solitude when we go back home, before we lie down, when we lie down in our beds and reflect, we should recollect what he said. He said, the fire that we are going to face in hell is something that we are taking with us ourselves from our lives. This is a very important, very small point, but a very important point, a very important key message of that speech. See, heaven and hell have been described in the Quran. There are descriptions of what hellfire can do to a person, how bad hell is. There are descriptions of the fruits, the pomegranates, the apples in paradise, in Jannatul Firdaus, the streams of milk and the streams of honey and all that. But what is it exactly? It boils down to saying that life in paradise most importantly means a life of peace and contentment and happiness, that we have done our duty on this earth and thankfully we have reached the place where we wanted to be. That is paradise. Whether the pomegranates there are so big or so big, it does not matter. Contentment is heaven, and an absence of contentment is hell. That is what we should remember. And our happiness, our contentment, our sorrow, our pain, all that is something that we are taking ourselves as our hand luggage from this earth to the hereafter. That's the most important point he said. And we should all remember this and do yes, right job of it as the right Muslims. There's a lot to say, but I was given only 10 minutes and I have stuck to my 10 minutes. Maulana Rafiuddin Saab, when he sat next to me, he said, I am going to talk only for, I have been given 20 minutes, but I am going to talk only for 10 minutes. Dr. Saab, you can take my 10 minutes and talk. He came here and suddenly announced, I have been given 20 minutes to talk, but I am going to talk only for 15 minutes. That left me with only 5 minutes. Wada khilafi hogi. And when he came and started talking, he spoke for 25 minutes, taking my 5 minutes also. So I would not like to go on more, but I hope and pray that all of us remember whatever was said in this small meeting today in this hall and carry this message alive in our hearts and keep it alive in our hearts and keep the fire of selfless service burning in our chest for all time to come, because it is this that is going to ensure that we have a very, very comfortable and a peaceful life in the hereafter. Inshallah, this will happen if we follow whatever advice has been given by the scholars here. I wish all of us are bestowed with this great boon from Allah Almighty. Ameen. Thank you very much for your listening. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.